travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. I've been on this interstellar journey through the galaxy, transcended all dimensions just for you to smile at me. Fulfillment of a cosmic legacy, divine purpose, plan some call it destiny. Evils in my past, they were suppressing me. I need you in my life, you like breath to me. When I'm in your love, it ain't no stress to me. Living at your wall to keep a blessing. Lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. I just wanna see you happy. I just wanna see you smile. Seems like it ain't never happy. That's why I'm so grateful now. I just wanna feel the bliss. Just wanna see the smile I miss. Being in love, I bring my knees. Never really loved quite like this. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Travel lifetimes like years just to be with you. Why you got me so confused? Without you, got the blues. Check for you like the news. High sex when we ain't new. Wanna give my check to you. Don't know how you do what you do. Sex ain't like a wet dream. You sexy, you let me. If you ever meet a girl named Tina, I'ma tell you what'll happen if you see her. I tell you what'll happen if you leave her. Nobody told me if you leave her. She had some candles, ain't think nothing of it. She started chanting, I thought she was coming. It was a mantra, now I'm bound to this woman, and I love it. Hey, why you got me so confused? Without you, got the blues. Check for you like the news. High sex when we ain't new. Wanna give my check to you. Don't know how you do what you do. Sex ain't like a wet dream. You sexy, you let me. If you ever meet a girl named Tina, I'ma tell you what'll happen if you see her. I tell you what'll happen if you leave her. Nobody told me if you leave her.
saying, can somebody just be happy for me? I really hate to say I told you so I bite my tongue, but you know.
Your favorite mystic's favorite mystic. You are traveling with the Hood Mystic. Time to tap in now. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer. You are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. Always gotta double check, triple check. Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me all right out there in Love Land, wherever you might find yourself? I hope wherever you at this morning, there is some love around you, surrounding you, within you. And if it is not, it is time to create it. Another word for create is make. So if we so happen to make love during this live broadcast, please do not tell nobody, except if you want to share the video, then share away. Thumbs up if you can hear me. All right. Much love, man, to y'all. Just doing a little settings up, you know. Each episode of Hood in the Morning, we try to make a little bit more dynamic than the last one. And that's my rule of thumb with anything in life, you know. Start off how you gonna start off and improve over time. Because if you keep that energy, everything is going to work out. And really, man, I needed a background vibe, but this ain't it. Really, I know what I already need. I need some J Dilla. Some J Dilla in the background, you feel me? Some Dilla beats in the background is all we need. Had this conversation right and exact. So yeah, man, first off, man, if you haven't already found out or know about it, man, monthly moon sign readings on Patreon. That's going to be your first link. $5 a month, or you can tap into the $50 where you get a reading every month, or you can just, you know, not sign up at all. Second thing, because the second thing is just as important as the first thing, man. Let me find it real quick. Substack, right? That Animus article. If you haven't read it yet, make sure you click the link in the description. Read, do your research, do your Googles. I'm about to start something real epic, man. I'm going to Florida this weekend, so I'm focused in on that. But when I get back from Florida, we about to go to school, y'all. We about to go to school. We about to go to Shadow Work University, fam. Like, we about to get that cracking because your boy been staring into the darkness for so long, man. It's starting to make real sense. Like, the structure of the shadow is starting to make sense. Because it's one thing to talk about shadow work when your shadow is whooping your ass, right? Because I can read on Google all day long. Shadow work this, shadow work that. But the reality is, if I'm not doing my own shadow work, talking about it ain't gonna matter. So for me, I've been peering at this behemoth of an energy called the shadow, trying to understand it, trying to wrap my mind around it, and it has birth. I guess I've been making love to the shadow, man. Now we having a baby, and it's called Shadow Work University. The formulations, I'm gonna work on it like when I have downtime in Florida. Like, so I'm going to Florida for work, you feel me? But in my downtime, if I have any, is going to be in the formulations, in the structures of the university. It's something that I really want to really bring to the surface or bring to the light and kind of like focus my content, and also, have more of like a place for people to actually experience the shadow, right? Because if you watch a video on shadow work, if you take a course on shadow work and you ain't able to verbalize it, so what it's going to be is, if we have an instruction, the next week is going to be a lab. So we're going to have to express the emotional education that we have went through, right? So in that vein, you'll be able to not only get instructed on the shadow, but come back. We can do it in group format. We can do it in partner format. You could have one-on-one sessions with the instructor. But at the end of the day, like for me, I'm very collegiate. I'm very like scholarly for real. And, part of my life, like I don't really share with y'all, is like I be in school. You know what I'm saying? I'm like really, I'm not even going to tell y'all what I'm going to do until I do it type shit. But I got dreams in real life. Like I'm a normal person, and I got things that I want to accomplish in this lifetime, right? But the only way that I'm going to accomplish my dreams, right, is through structure and discipline. So if I don't offer that to y'all, if I don't offer that to my wife, to my children, then I'm selling y'all a dream. Y'all understand what I'm saying? One's in the chat if y'all understand what I'm saying, man. How y'all feel? Y'all hear the Dilla in the background? Is it blending with me? One's in the chat, man. How y'all feeling? I don't care how many. I ain't gonna keep track of the viewers, because that be, it's a very calming type of vibe with me, man. It's all about good energy. It's all about having the spiritual conversation, right? I don't mind having a spiritual conversation whenever I get the time, but I got other things, I got other responsibilities, right? But when I get my me time, it's time for me to get in the space of spiritual discipline, physical discipline, emotional discipline, mental discipline. This is how I accomplish my goals. So if I'm telling y'all like, oh yeah, just motherfucking do whatever, roll the dice and it might work out for you, I won't. That's me selling you a false dream. So the consistency that I show myself, the consistency that I show others, is the consistency of this YouTube channel. There's no magic trick with me. You feel me? It's no like extraterrestrial abducted me into a spaceship one day. I don't know. It's just like, when I first looked at this information, I did not know what the fuck was happening, yo. I didn't know what was happening with nothing. Everything was like, okay. But if you take one lesson a day, if you take one word a day, one letter a day, one concept a day, you keep building on this particular thought stream, what'll happen over time is that you'll be a representation of your study. You'll be a representation of your voice, of your attributes, of the skill that you've learned, the discipline that you've took to accomplish your goals. You'll be that over time. And I think in the spiritual community, correct me if I'm wrong, but they giving you microwavable, simple understanding explanations of it. But when it, like, I asked the question on my Instagram the other day. What did you learn? Right? What new information did you learn? And for real, a lot of it was like a bunch of spiritual mumbo jumbo. And I was telling my wife, like, it's kind of crazy because, like, when you think about learning something, you would imagine it to be tangible. But if you learning spiritual philosophy and spiritual understandings and you don't really understand what you learning for real, then you ain't actually learning stuff, because when the shadow takes over, when you get triggered, all that mumbo jumbo shit that you've been intaking over time is not gonna matter. When somebody close to you transition, all that mumbo jumbo you've taken in, it ain't gonna matter. When your kids have a temper tantrum, go off in away to some other land of make believe, of craziness and chaos, and bring it to your face, all that shit you was talking about ain't gonna matter. So, in reference to path working, in reference to doing the work, there needs to be some form of responsibility in this spiritual journey. So, I want to talk about path working today. I want to talk about Shadow Work University today. And I also want to talk about Prince and the Anima. Now, many people do not understand Prince as an individual, as a human being. But it's very important to understand a man that is psychologically sound. Because when a man is psychologically sound, ladies, he might show up like a prince. And if you not psychologically sound as a woman, that man is out of your league. Because that man is going to infuriate you, because when a man is so in tune with his goddess, his hair is going to be more pressed than yours. Prince had a luxurious mane. He gonna dress better than you. He gonna come with the flavors. He gonna come every time you see this man. He gonna have on a different piece of clothing, and it's gonna be some shit that you never seen before. You'll be like, damn. He gonna make you feel insecure about yourself. So this is why we gotta be psychologically sound together. You gotta be in tune with your masculine energy. Because when you talk about toxic masculinity, that's just a woman who is not in tune with her animus. That's the true definition of toxic masculinity. Because if you're not in tune with your if you're not in tune with your animus, then you project your masculine energy unhealthily on, it could be any man at any given time. So, not to poke the bear, not to upset anybody, but to bring about a real level of healing through the modality called path working, right? And I just want to talk about what that is, if you give me a moment. So I brought up two definitions of path working, and I'm gonna read those definitions to you, because it could be very abstract, and a lot of spirituality can be very abstract. The reason that I show up consistently, the reason why I can't really focus on how many viewers or what people is saying or what people is not saying, because that's not my messaging. My messaging is consistency. And if you want anything in life, you will consistently act towards it. One's in the chat if that makes sense. If you want anything in life, you will consistently act towards it. So we live in the day and age where the main spirit is glamour, where glamour tells us that if I have this particular aesthetic, everything will work out from that point. The reality is that you can have that particular aesthetic and still be psychologically fucked up, for a lack of better words. So whether you have the aesthetic or not, right, shouldn't matter. The fact of you being psychologically sound, where you go inside of your mind and you know what the fuck is going on. One's in the chat if that's an important thing versus Kim Kardashian letting North do TikTok dances or not. We know all of the latest celebrity gossip, but when we go within ourselves, we don't know what the hell is going on. To me, that is a problem. So it brings about the conversation of pathworking in a space that I don't know if people are talking about it. I don't know if you understand what pathworking is. I don't even know if you understand how important pathworking it is, how important pathworking is. But in the hopes of this live stream, you can take from this live stream the ease of pathworking, the importance of pathworking, and the necessity of pathworking. So before we get into the definitions that we pulled off of Al Gore's internet, I'm going to tell you the epiphany that I had in reference to the explanation of what pathworking is. So and this is my explanation, listen intently, and then when I'm finished, one's in the chat if you understood, two's in the chat if it made no sense at all. All right, so here we go. If I have an inward need, such as hunger, right? And let's just keep it clear. I'm hungry internally. Internally, inside of myself, I am hungry. Inside of my body, inside of my stomach, it's saying we want food, right? I can't go inside of myself to satisfy an internal need. I have to essentially either stand up, go to the refrigerator, go to the corner store, go to the restaurant, order a DoorDash, Uber Eats. Is going to require an external action to satisfy an inward need. We understand this. So what is pathworking? Pathworking is when you want something externally, such as a lover, such as money. Okay? Y'all want love and money? All right, where would you go to get that? If a person is an external thing, would it make sense for me to go externally to find something that I want externally, or do we have to invert the process and go internally to that part of us that is love, to that part of us that is money, to that part of us that is understanding, to that part of us that is war, to that part of us that is strength, to that part of us that is foundational? It makes more sense if we want things externally, such as a home, such as anything externally. I think that, so we're speaking in paradox. There's a level of understanding that says if you want something externally, you seek it externally. But my question to you is, if you wanted a home right now, where would you go? Where's the one place that we all can go to say, I want one house? How would you like that house, sir? I wanted 3 bedrooms, 1.5, with a master suite, spa, and jacuzzi. Okay, sir, that would be $44. Here you go. Here goes your home for you and your family. Have a good day. Thank you. Come again. Never. You got to do some fucking soul searching before you decide to buy a house. Trust and believe. The reason why most of us pay rent is because owning a house is hard. Owning a house is in reference to an internal process called Malkut. And it's a foundational process called Yasad. And this to me is pathworking. When you want something, you impress the subconscious mind with symbols. One's in the chat if that made sense. Two's in the chat if you still having a hard time understanding of why you are struggling and why other people are living the lifestyles of the rich and famous. Because if it was an external thing, there would be a clear place where we could go. Hey, where do you go to get money? You go to the money store. Okay, I'm gonna go to the money store. Do 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 do. Hey, can I have some money? Yes, how much money do you want? $1 million. Here you go, sir. Thank you. Do 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 do. Hey, where'd you get all that money from? The money store. Can I go? We all can go. It's a place where everybody can go get money. Do y'all know a place like that? Now, do you want money? Yes. Where are you going to go? Well, the common sense is saying get a job. Riddle me this, Batman. You got a job that gives you money, but you still want money. That means there's a paradox. That means you got to probe a little deeper into the current reality structure to actually get the money that you seeking, because the first layer of 25 an hour plus tips plus overtime still creates the need of money, but you're doing something for money. This is why relationships and things of that nature is weird, because people will be in a relationship and still want to be in a relationship. You ever understood why that was? Because we're talking about actually satisfying needs and actually being in the present moment, and that's very different from talking about a need, right? I want to bring you into a space of manifestation, and I can't tell you, if you want a car, go to the dealership and tell them you want a car. It don't work like that. I can't tell you to go within yourself, to deal with yourself foundationally, to deal with yourself sexually. Because you can't be sexually in tune with yourself and also be broke. But when you are sexually disconnected, when you have no peace within, when you have no peace within your womb, when you don't understand what's going on inside of you and you don't do the work, then all of your time and energy is due to solving the problems that negative thoughts create. You're solving problems within yourself that your mind is creating. So when it comes to either getting the bag, developing an idea, being consistent with yourself, you can't do it because you don't even understand the foundational path working of your side. So in Shadow Work University, we going through every sphere of the Sephiroth, and we are going to do the meditation and go inward. And once we clear up, so in chakras, right, there's a science of within your mind's eye, cleaning out the chakra. Very powerful practice. When should we clear out our chakras? All the fucking time, right? Why? Because the Kabbalah means to receive, right? To receive requires us to be pure and to be in the mode of reception. When we've never cleaned out our chakras, we never understood ourselves internally. We've only understood ourselves at the surface level of life, where you wake up, you get a job, you get a direct deposit, you save 5%, you invest in this, you're doing that, you go to the club, you shake your ass, watch your fast, but wash yourself, all of this type of energy, right? But when are we going to sit down as a community and discuss Jungian analytical psychology? When are we going to recognize its necessity? So let's talk about path working in reference to the internet so we can be clear about it, because I don't want it to be like a point of time where, okay, we're having a spiritual conversation, but everybody can do it their own way. Everybody has their own path. But when we talk about foundational spiritual understanding, there should be some structure to what's happening. Or else it's just a free-for-all. And at the end of the day, those things don't even really exist. The only shit that really matters for real is if you're able to convert the information into results. And no matter what, a person can tell you anything, especially spiritually, especially if you don't believe in yourself, especially if you don't even understand the basic principles of yourself. We're not even understanding ourselves as an inner psychic structure. We're only understanding ourselves by getting our physical needs met. We can only fantasize and wish for a physical pleasure. So our times in between times within our minds is seek desire and shit 24/7. So when it comes to who we truly are as a spiritual being, that shit is weird to us, abstract to us. You know, the spiritual person is like a weirdo in this world because we can be so spiritual, but we still can't even communicate what it even means. And I want to get into some definitions. Because at a certain point, I agree with both of these definitions, but it's up to us to, you know, I like bringing information into the conversation so we can have a third party source that we can begin to reflect from it. And you can do your own research off the words. So if you never heard the words Kabbalistic tree of life, maybe you could, you know, I'm going to tell you one thing though. You gonna be fucking confused as a bitch. Let me tell you that. And hopefully you willing to stare into the abyss long enough until it start making sense. This ain't microwavable spirituality. This ain't spirituality that's going to just be easy for you to comprehend. This is going to take you some time to understand. And what we're understanding is ourselves. So I can make it easier for you, right? And you can take notes, and you could ask me questions and things of that nature, because I've done stared into the abyss. You got sent into darkness. This is where I came from. You know what I'm saying? I came from the dark. You feel me? So it's nothing to me for me to, you know, break this shit down and help you understand this shit. But at the end of the day, like let's focus and concentrate on going inside of ourselves. Pause. To create an external result. This is where we get into pathworking and magic. One's in the chat if magic excites you, right? One's in the chat if you believe or know or have a glimpse within yourself that you are a magical being and you want to tap into that. One's in the chat. One's in the chat if everything is distracting you from yourself. Pathworking. This is taken from the Llewellyn Spiritual Dictionary, which would be more or less of an authority in spiritual understanding. So whenever you want to get somewhat of an authoritative Britannica or encyclopedia of spiritual thought, type in Llewellyn. I think it's LL. LL Cool J is hard as hell. No, that's not how you spell it. LLEWELLEN. But if I spelled it wrong, Google will correct it for you and me. Llewellyn, spiritual books. You can search on Amazon or Scribd. But this definition goes as follows. Originally, the process of astrally or mentally projecting up and around the paths of the Kabbalistic tree in order to gain information, instructions, meet entities there, and ask favors of those entities. So one would say it would be very difficult to achieve a financial goal, and you'll internalize that and externalize that through projecting that onto the world. I remember thinking how difficult it would be for me to make money. I remember waking up realizing that no money was coming to me in that day, and I would feel bad about it, create the energy and aura around me that nothing was going to happen, not light a candle, not write in my journal, not set an intention, not create an action plan, just bask in the reality that I was going to be broke as hell today. And nothing changed for me until I started to do the actual inner work. Sometimes you got to ask yourself from the base level or the highest level. It just depends on how clear you are with your inner psychic structure. And I'll explain this later, but it's very important that when you want things externally and you think that you gotta fucking do a ritual, you think you gotta pay money for something that you've already manifested internally from the get-go. So some of these people, y'all already got money, right? But y'all not even realizing where the money came from. So you wanting for more things externally, so you using the money that you created for more things externally. Well, what if you began to probe yourself even further and stop? Like, it's always a point in time where we sit with ourselves and we think, what more can I get out of the external reality? My challenge to you is to ask, what more can you get from your soul? How deeper? Don't act like you've completed the connection between consciousness and subconsciousness, consciousness and unconsciousness. Don't even act like you've completed that mission. That mission is a lifelong mission, and where are you at in that game? This is where the tree of life comes into understanding, and understanding the spheres, and then realizing that that is true magic. Because it's one thing to join a cult, to join a coven, join a spiritual group, spend all your money, and feel like you've accomplished something because other people have validated you. But what about your inner psychic structure have you completed within yourself? Because people have validated you because you have met somebody that gave you some head do not mean that you've actually accomplished something at a psychic level. I'm going to tell you, it don't cost nothing but dedication and consistency to your damn self. I'm saying all of this because everybody around you gonna make you feel bad for doing that shit. When you start manifesting, people gonna be like, damn, where my pot of gold at? Why can't I get a piece of your pie? Let me get a piece of your sandwich. I want a piece of your cake. You got the biggest cake out here. One's in the chat, if you ever manifested something and the people around you said, I ain't gonna try to manifest like you trying to manifest. I'm gonna just get what you got. Why? Because it's about an inner psychic structure that the education that I can teach you, you can start teaching to other people. And whether they understand it or not, whether they accept it or not, you got to begin to give and let go and move on. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have an understanding of yourself, and even more so, yourself has been coming through for you since the beginning of time, but you still seeking more out of life, out of people, but you not even giving yourself the understanding of who you are internally. Like, you don't even have an identification of your animus, but we talking about, you don't even have an identification of your anima, but you know everything it is about your ego. That's a problem. You using spiritual things to satisfy your ego, but you not even recognizing that your shadow side has a whole personality structure, has a whole story, has a whole archetype, has a whole meaning of life, has a whole purpose. Your soul came down here with a purpose that is not about you on the surface. Boy, I'm a poet and I ain't even know it, nigga. I swear to God, like I'm just the illest poet. Freestyle shit. More recently, some popular writers have described any visualized journey as pathworking, and this has become the popular meaning of the term. Some occultists now refer to the original concept as Kabbalistic pathworking. So I feel like a lot of times with spirituality, people want to minimize it and simplify it and TikTok it and reel it and make it in 30-second sound bites so motherfuckers can share it on their platforms and you know, but I'm gonna tell you what, that says nothing about consistency. That says nothing about dedication. That says nothing about sitting with your spirit. It says more about being distracted, okay? So there is no spiritual nothing if you don't have a spiritual foundation within yourself. Because when it gets down to the nitty gritty, to real, your actual habits, compulsions, the things you really get down with, the things you really get down for, it don't matter what videos you watching, right? If you don't create a level of purity within yourself to begin to receive from the entities and energies within your damn self, you gonna be lost in the sauce. And you will know all of the latest TikTok videos. That's the real wild irony. So I just Googled pathworking spiritual definition, and this is the first this is the first thing that popped up. So let's read. Pathwork is a contemporary path of growth and transformation. First of all, pathwork is ancient. So let's clear that up. You know, we gonna do the Wikipedia of this shit, because if you don't edit this shit, you will be reading lies, all right? Why is pathwork contemporary? Contemporary means something new. This is something ancient. So let's get womp, womp, womp. Grounded in spiritual wisdom, it is based on the premise that accepting, understanding, taking responsibility for all parts of ourselves is essential for transforming our shadow side. So we got to be clear when we say our shadow side, because that will create more confusion in the conversation. Pathworking, transforming our shadow side, is transforming and integrating our soul. Our soul consists of, the mystery is masculine and feminine, and unifying that. Claiming our light, what does that mean? I don't know. It sounds like 3 words put together to me. How the fuck do you claim light? Where's the place is they selling light and you go, I claim this light I claim. This is why you got to be safe on Al Gore's internet, where you think you reading some shit and you ain't reading nothing but 3 words. How you gonna claim light? There's people in the chat right now. Well, actually, Hood, you claim light by going to the light place in where they have claim slips. You pay $50.99 for a claim slip and then you claim light. Okay, sounds good. Finding unity within ourselves. A little better. Unity how? Unity between what? Unity between masculine and feminine. And one of the first lessons, we need to create a story for our anima and our animus. We need to create a narrative for our anima and our animus. We can't have a story for Charmaine trying to become a goddamn CNA, right? Everything is about your CNA classes, your CNA job. You go to sleep thinking about it. You dream about it. You be dreaming about cleaning asses. You wake up, wash your hands, because you smell the small scent of doodoo when you wake up, because you've been dreaming about washing ass. And at the same time, this is your whole life structure. So you're not psychologically sound if you only view yourself as this one primary entity. We have a sun side, we have a moon side. The sun side is feminine, the moon sign is masculine, right? That's another science, ancient Vedic science. But not to confuse you, we have a masculine side, we have a feminine side, and shadow work is the specific uniting of that energy. If your shadow side does not have a story, y'all not going to be compatible, because it's like being with somebody and everything is about them. Y'all like them type of relationships? Don't you like a person that asks you, well, how you doing? Even if you don't know what you want to eat, he gonna ask you what you want to eat anyways, just for you to say, I don't know, I don't even got an appetite. Then you go to the restaurant and you order like 5 different things, and it's like, damn, how the fuck you go from this to not having an appetite? But I digress. We're not here to talk about that. With others and the divine. So I would add into this definition that pathworking helps you get shit in the external world. Because the difference between a person that's getting it versus a person that's not getting it is the inner psychic structure. I know this to be a fact because I used to be a person that never got anything out of life. And I know the difference between having a clear understanding with myself through ritual, through intention, through herbs, through candle magic, through nature. And I can see the results after I do those types of things. One's in the chat if that makes sense, because that's the very most important point of this video. And if you've been watching this video so far, haven't even liked this video, please do me a favor and do so. Although many spiritual paths, and when we say, like, I don't want to look at this thing as a end all be all in reference to path working. I want us to be clear about this, because if we stay in the space of just looking at ourselves as good people, as gods and goddesses, as empresses and kings and sorcerers, everybody got a fucking personality. My thing is, I want you niggas to get results and know how you got those results. Because it's one thing to get results, not knowing how you get it and selling your ass to keep it, right? Sacrificing your time and energy to keep something that you ain't even supposed to have, right? That's one thing. The second thing is chilling, relaxing. You might can get some ass all day and still have your Shopify going cha-ching, still have your Cash App go, still have your invoices come in, still have the products being sold, having shit set up in multiple different ways, multiple streams of income, right? And never call yourself an empress, a god, a goddess, none of that. Never call yourself spiritual, none of that. This is what I'm talking about. You can call yourself a god all you want to. That's not what I'm talking about when we talk about goddamn path working. The same way as if you hungry and you say, oh, that's called relieving your hunger. When you go to the store and look at the food and don't pick it up and buy it. It's not philosophical. It's not to have you pondering on how deep this conversation is. It's for you to put some goddamn food on your table. It's for you to have some motion in the ocean. And a lot of times, y'all will go to the store, go to the places that you going, give them your money, and might get some clothes, might get something of value, might not get something of value. Because that's the crazy thing about stores. They going to triple charge for what it's worth. That's the crazy part about stores. So at a certain point, We getting fucked all the way around and we don't even know where to go. So I'm saying before you decide to go to the store, go within yourself to get what you want externally. Tap into yourself. Because at the end of the day, all of this spiritual shit is a joke if it ain't gonna help you do nothing. The thing about me is that I manifest not based on nobody. I manifest based on myself. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about pathworking. The results of receiving. Receiving. The Kabbalah means to receive, not to identify, not to ride on your high horse through the spiritual streets and say how deep you are. It's about your results. Although many spiritual paths feature practices to transcend our human limitations, the pathwork is unique in its strong emphasis on the task of purification and transformation of our shadow side or lower self. This in turn builds a dependable foundation for authentic experiences of transcendence and unity. Wait a second. Boy, I'd be lost in these spiritual conversations. I get it, but sometimes it's just like, authentic experiences of transcendence and unity. I guess if I don't understand what you're talking about, though, and I guess it's just an internet article, right? What could you actually expect from it? But that's why we need to actually be philosophical with our understanding of shadow work. So I think this is dope. And you can't really see the words, but I'm going to try to see. I wonder if this will work. Maybe it won't work, but we're going to try to see if it works. Kind of can see it. We kind of can see it. We kind of can see it. So this works, right? When you look at the tarot and you look at the 10 of discs, that card is called wealth, right? And the 10 of discs, the 10 represents Malkuth. Malkuth is the bridge between physical and spiritual. Now, this is your ability to manifest, right? This is what all of these cards are alluding to. So where do you find wealth at? Do you go to the store and say, I would like to buy 5 wealth? And the clerk says, okay, that'll be $59.99 plus tax. It'll be $63.01 altogether. Thank you for the wealth. No problem. Come back again anytime. Can y'all go to that store and buy wealth? Or do you have to go within yourself to find wealth? Well, where do you go to find it? You would find it at the soles of your feet. You will find it through grounding. You will find it through the visualization of the grounding of Malkuth, the soles of your feet, which connect to the earth. The earth is a large geomantic spectrum of manifestation. Just look around you. It's as if these houses sprung up from the earth. These buildings just birth themselves from the earth. Wealth aplenty, and you have access to that wealth. Imagine if you just simply visualize and ground it and connect it to the earth. Now, we want money so bad, but we don't ground. So the 10 of discs, wealth, Malkuth. Say, for instance, we want a lover and a tenderoni. 10 times out of 10, we've already had that lover and tenderoni. But we have residual energy in our bonding or yesod. Do we then go to the dating store? I would like to purchase a lover. What kind of lover? We have dark skinned lovers and light skinned lovers. Hmm. Let me think about it real quick. I think I want a caramel skin lover. Okay, that'll be $50.99, sir. Here goes your lover. Can y'all go to the lover store and buy a lover? Or do you need to go within yourself, clear your inner energy, and then begin to attract from the energy of your side? So forth and so on. So basically, I'm not going to go through all of these, but if you could, once again, this is not rocket science, but it's not something that we can figure out what the Kabbalistic tree of life is. How does it resonate, or how does it how much do you understand it within yourself? And how deep are you willing to go within yourself over time? How committed are you to the meditation and the inward journey and understanding the inner psychic structure? How long can you stare at the abyss with a mop and a broom, right? This is why witches they ride on brooms and they carry brooms, because they got to clean out the chakras. Right? The only way we can get through this thing is through clarity, okay? And the clarity comes from within, not over chasing our goals and our dreams. But in a deeper thing, when we really fully get into our inner psychic structure, we get into what is called the law of attraction, right? Where we begin to attract things. And the effort that we take is to get clear within ourselves to keep the flow and the motion going. So when our chakras get clogged up, that generally is a stop in our financial flow. So right now, it's a lot of people probably really struggling with finances and not getting nothing happening. 10 times out of 10, your chakras is all clogged up at this particular point, mainly your root chakra. So once again, not to get you confused, not to pull you into an energy where, oh my God, what am I do? My root chakra is blocked. What do I need to do? You need to ground. You need to put your bare feet onto the natural earth. Okay? Bare feet onto the natural earth. Why? Because the earth is a geomantic structure that births creations. You have access to it. This is the reason that everybody wears shoes, right? To keep them disconnected from the earth. When that shoes wasn't an invention the whole time we've been living on this earth. When we were connected to the earth in our most primal root existence, we didn't have any shoes for a majority of our experience, unless we were off the ground. So that's just that, right? How many times do you go swimming with shoes on? Or do you stay connected to the actual physical structure, which the information then is able to travel through your body, through your chakras, cleanse the chakras, purify the chakras, so you can begin to resonate and vibrate as the spiritual being. And then you begin to understand things in a clearer, more translucent way. Because clarity is the way to it. It's not anything else. It's not philosophical. The law of attraction is you doing your spiritual work as a way that almost guarantees multiple streams of income. It's like it's like the money just wants to fall into your pocket. It's like the opportunities, like people can't stop calling your phone, give you opportunities. Hey man, we want you to guest on this podcast. Hey, we want to invite you to Florida. I gotta host a podcast while I'm in Florida. All right, y'all. I do my little teacher thing. I gotta step away. I got another engagement. I'll be back soon as I'm done, type shit. I ain't set it up like that. I ain't asked for it. I didn't even specifically want it, but I'm receiving what I'm attracting through the spiritual work that I've been doing. I've been blessed in multiple ways, indifferent to the spiritual work that I've done. And so, all of this to say, we gonna break some barriers. We gonna force y'all to have these conversations. Cause in another aspect of doing the spiritual work, I'm very vocal. Right? My sidereal moon sign is Gemini, the sign of communication. Meaning I'm able to like clear my shit, but I need to create an opportunity and space for others to clear their shit too. So that's what we're going to be doing. When you get in tune with yourself, manifestation is just something that happens. And if you feel you outside of manifestation, or if you feel like you don't know where your next dollar is coming from for real, and you feel that pressure, you haven't made no money in a while, you don't know where your next dollar is coming from, you're in a perfect position to fall in love with yourself. You're in a perfect position to become one with yourself so you could begin to manifest and create a starting point from a primal position. So, what is your first step in this process? You gotta ground. What's grounding? Walking outside barefoot. You ain't got no job, first of all. So you never too busy. You can't not work and not ground. That shit don't even make sense. What I'm trying to establish through Shadow Work University is a concept that I don't feel like I invented, but I did invent it. This is what I'm trying to invent. I'm trying to invent a modality called Black Calm. Because I was doing a reading the other day, and I'm very sensitive to energy. And as I was probing through the electromagnetic energy that we were sharing, I picked up on a very intense anger. And that intense anger, it was rooted in a different place, but it was blossoming in a space of a death that had just happened. Somebody that was close to the person that I was doing a reading for. And I felt the rage, and I felt the pain, and I felt the struggle within. I felt it and I seen it all, and we talked about it. And I had the solution. And I don't know if y'all understand the solution, but we have to develop, you know how I say peace? Well, peace can be etymologically confusing. So I'm going to use the word calm. That's really my word. Calm. Black calm. We need to become calm people. So what would be the purpose of this shadow work? Is to remove this rage and confusion and anger and angst and anxiety and fear and trauma and negative thoughts and negative energy, and establish a level of calm through having the conversation that produces the unification of your masculine and feminine side. Because the root of this anger and rage is that we live in a racist system, in a racist society. Then when we look around, we see our communities failing right before our eyes, or we ignore it in our suburban bliss. But one thing's for sure, you cannot go to any hood and not see that the structure, the infrastructure is falling right before our eyes. And then we have Black family members in this chaos and energy is tearing them up. One's in the chat if this energy is taking hold of the family dynamic. And we want to find a particular solution. And we might have a solution, but we're not going to find the solution until we understand the calm energy, the calm state of mind, the sustained calm that connects us to the cosmos. And I just want to elucidate the purpose of doing this shadow work. Because the point of being triggered, the point of being angered is not the end all be all. We can actually exist in a place that is actually calm. And so we're going to create these conversations and these opportunities, because what I felt when I was doing this reading was that there is a rise of a black shaman class of people. And I don't think it's everybody. I don't feel like everybody's going to sign up. I don't feel everybody's going to take part in the conversation. But those that do, I feel that there is a calling for you to really do some intense magic, some intense spiritual work. And in order for you to get to that level of high level attraction, one has to begin to do the shadow work, the path working, to be able to clearly receive from spirit. And to also, the ways that I always try to explain root working and a magical profession or a spiritual, like being a spiritual professional, is that you never see a billboard for, the world's best root worker, right? There is no real advertisement for spiritual professionals. But that doesn't mean that people don't sign up, people don't hit up, people don't get readings. Like, there is this, I can't even explain it to you, but like, every time I do a reading, within 24 hours, somebody books another reading. And when I get done with that reading, somebody books within 24 hours. I don't specifically promote readings. I haven't promoted readings. Like, I don't even promote them. But since 2018, it's not to say that I've read people every day, but what I'm saying is when I'm done with a reading, so it could be a week, and that week I'm just doing my 1-2. I'll do that reading. Within that 24-hour period, somebody will book another reading. And I'll be always telling my wife, that's crazy. Because I feel the energy exchange between the person that I'm reading for. And for me, I'm just communicating what your higher self been trying to tell you this entire time, but you haven't been listening to. So that's just, it's not even about me for real at this point. So all of this to say, when you are serious about your path working, people will just hit you up for your services. You'll be in positions to make money for your services one way or another. I can't really explain that intricate part between path working and manifestation, or peace and calm and manifestation. But if you just relax and allow the energy to go through your Sephiroths, if you can just be in the space of calm and relaxation for long enough that your spiritual body begins to take over, begins to instruct, inform, and guide, you'll be all right. I promise that. Right? I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. So the last thing that I want to talk about is a case study on the Anima and what the Anima looks like in real life. Because there's only, well, I can't say there's only, but there is a quintessential epitome of being psychologically sound. There is a blueprint of what it looks like to incorporate your anima into your masculine frame. Now, the question is always, was Prince, did he swing to the other side? Did he play for both sides? I've watched a lot of documentaries on Prince, and every relationship he had was with a woman. He gave no signs of having no relationships with men. So let's just wipe that off the table, because that's the initial thing that people are going to say and bring up when they talk about integrating the anima into the masculine frame. Prince had girls. Now, I'm going through a certain transformation myself where I'm at the point in time in my life where even if I'm going to the gym, I'm not going outside of the house unless it's business casual. Because that's how I want to be received. So these past couple of days, I just been, because me, I be wearing sweats and I be wearing shorts. And if I can't wear sweats and shorts, I'm probably not going to be in that environment. But as I'm working with the anima, it's telling me, well, no, the things you want out of life is going to require you to dress better and to improve your dress, to improve the way you look, to improve your grooming, to improve your hygiene, to improve what oils and colognes and perfumes you wear. Like, you're going to have to be in tune with that. Because we live in a society where people is going to look at you a certain type of way. And if you want what you want out of life, you can't show up in sweats and shorts and expect anything other than ew. You're gross. So with that being said, it's up to me to, receive the information from the anima and be consistent and dedicated in the cultivation in my appearance. Any man can do this. Any man could I don't care if you're a mechanic. You could be a sexy ass mechanic. I don't care if you work at the fucking what you call that? Movie theater. You can be popping butter on some sexy shit. You can be wearing your uniform, some type of sexy, I don't care. You can do your hair, you can do your makeup. You ever went to a place where a person is wearing a uniform, but you knew the person behind the uniform had swag? How you know? Because of how their hair was done and how their skin was. How them lips was popping. So when we talk about our appearance and we talk about our aesthetic, the excuses that we give ourselves is just that. When we want to integrate our anima, we are specific to becoming more desirable to the feminine species. Sometimes when you code with it, you might be looking better than your girl on a daily basis, every day. Like, damn, this nigga look better than this girl. This shit crazy. Only way you able to do that is if you tapped into your anima. And she ain't gonna let you go. She ain't gonna have a problem with it. Cause I'm gonna tell you what. On top of anything, right? You could be a mechanic, electrician, a statistician, a laboratory chemist, you name it. If you look good while doing it, she gonna be cool. You're gonna be like, what your man do? He a lab tech. Okay. But that nigga look good though. Ooh, ooh, ow, ow. What your man do? He shuffle cards and tell people their future. But that nigga look good though. Ow, ow. That's the Anima. But even more so, the Anima, when you look at Prince, when you listen to Prince, man, he write the coldest songs you ever heard before, right? The bar none best songwriter. I don't care what you say. I'm not even gonna argue with you. Nobody is better than Prince when it comes to music. Music, like being able to make music with like just you, like guitar, drumming, singing, lyrics, arrangement, fucking solo, harmonies, background vocals, engineer, press it up, carry the reels from place to place. Like every Prince song you hear is Prince from the origin to the, like he can produce a whole album unto itself. Michael Jackson can't do that. You might like other people, but Prince, bar none, best musician ever. Only to teach what a relationship with the Anima gives you. It gives you artistic abilities. Your artistic abilities come from a goddess. It was a point in time, and this is what's fucked up about music now. It was a point in time where black music only consisted of love songs. Like the only thing we sung about, black men only sung about loving a woman. Now, we could look at that realistically, or we can look at that spiritually. We can look at that, say if I sung a love song to my Anima and everybody loved that song and they sung it to their wives or to their Animas, but it was a world-renowned classic. What else do I get from that? Manifestation. So if you are artistically got these artistic gifts that come from the goddess, you also have a way to monetize yourself and make money and manifest. It's not a black man that I know that's not talented. I've never met a black man that is not talented in some form or fashion. I know some black men that give up on themselves. I know black men that don't take the time and energy to cultivate their talent. But any black man that I've ever seen give himself a chance to develop and grow, he becomes a flower. And I honestly don't think black men is having the conversation of like, well, you have an Anima and you have to have a relationship with your feminine side and really get in tune with that. You know, I don't think we're having these conversations with black men either. However, you know, there's some black men watching this channel, I guarantee that. And I guarantee you that if you have, if this can open your mind to have a relationship with your goddess, and you're not going to be Prince, you're not going to be walking around with leather pants with your ass out or nothing like that, but you might go a step above from where you at fashion wise. If you wearing something and you look good now, you can improve your wardrobe. You can add more pieces, more accessories. You could do different things, open up your shirt a little more, work out a little more, put a little bit of oil. Like you could do different things, different oils, different colognes, different smells, do different things with your hair, wear bandanas, just try shit. That's tapping into your feminine energy. It don't make you gay for looking your best. It don't make you gay for putting energy and effort to your aesthetic. don't mean you like men. It mean you have a strong foundational relationship with your anima. It also makes you attractive to the opposite sex. It puts you in the game. If you take care of yourself in comparison to the men that don't take care of themselves, it's a reason that you see men carry themselves a certain type of way every single day. Because they have gotten the results that come with that type of aesthetic. If it didn't afford a man nothing, a man wouldn't even do it. Because men are very practical. So it might make sense to take an hour or two before you come out the house. This is being psychologically sound. Because at the end of the day, you gonna be wanting that out of your girl. You ain't gonna want no girl that just rolls out of bed and just looks all types of ways, hair all type of crazy, right? Why do we do it? Because we're not psychologically sound. We don't even understand that we have a feminine side that has to be developed. Another aspect of Prince. Another aspect of Prince is that he would have these personalities. One of the main personalities was one of Camille. One of my favorite songs of Prince is my second favorite song. Actually, my first and second songs are like back to back. So it's Forever in My Life, which plays, and then the second song, If I Was Your Girlfriend. So my first and second favorite Prince songs to listen to. But before Forever in My Life was my favorite Prince song, If I Was Your Girlfriend was my favorite song. And one night I was riding and I was listening to NPR and that song came on. And it was just it was like, because that is made with a drum machine. And it's so hip, right? But Prince is so musically trained that even the distortion had melody to it. Like if you listen to it, it's a very distorted song, but it's so melodic. And I was like, this dude is just crazy. But another aspect of this song is like, it's like he's singing in this girl voice. But in the NPR, I would have never even knew that this was even a thing. They were saying that during this recording process, Prince was going through his Camille phase. And I was like, Camille phase? What the fuck is a Camille phase? Well, Prince had an alter ego named Camille that he would sing through. And part of that song, If I Was Your Girlfriend, wasn't actually Prince singing that. That was Camille singing it. So I know that Prince had a real relationship with Camille. Camille was his anima, right? And for some people, they like, that's crazy, having multiple personalities, right? I got a disorder. But Prince made millions of dollars. Sign me up for that type of crazy. One's in the chat. One's in the chat if you want to be so crazy that you make millions of dollars. Sign me up for that crazy. I want to have multiple personality disorders too. And I'm saying all of this to say, what is the name of your anima? What is the name of your animus? What is it like? I'm giving y'all all of this game for free 99. All I'm asking y'all to do is like the video. Why? Because I'm going to get mines. This has been an episode of Hood in the Morning. I need to get this episode out. My next video is going to be from Florida, y'all. We're going to talk about this new moon in Cancer. Might do it by some water. Might be on some real fly. I might be acting real different in a couple of days. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I might be acting real bougie and sophisticated, things of that nature. But I told y'all don't cry for me, Argentina. I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right. So just want to thank y'all for y'all support, y'all likes, y'all shares, y'all all y'all support to keep this thing going. And hopefully I'm doing a good job with helping y'all along y'all spiritual journey. I don't want to just be up here because I'm just clicking live. I want to be able to say, damn, good, really helped me in this time that you shared. You know what I'm saying? Really helped me see some things differently. Got a few laughs in that I didn't have. Ones in the chat if the content was valuable in some way before I get up out of here. And I'm going to pull a card for the collective. Ones in the chat if you took some value from this live stream. Make me feel good. Make me feel good. Make me feel. Make me feel good. I don't know if y'all can see this, but we got the Prince of Wands, man. We about to be following our heart, man. Follow your heart today, man. Follow your heart. Like make sure your heart get enlightened and enlivened in some way. Do something out of your passion. Do something, you know what I'm saying? Suck on a toe. Feel me? Suck on some toes tonight. You feel me? Suck on some toes in the afternoon. Be real wild, right? Call off work, baby. I'm calling off work. Why you calling off work today, baby? I want to suck your toes. Get the hot sauce ready. Get the hot sauce ready. Man, it's been another episode of Hood in the Morning, man. Shout out to y'all. But get into it. I will see y'all in Florida. Peace. It's going to start. I gotta get through this process in Florida, and then when I get back, I'm gonna really start working on it next week, and then I'll have like the infrastructure. If I want to do Teachable, I got to figure out what platform I want to do it under so I can give people the most value. But yeah, I still got a lot to think about, but it's going to be something that's going to happen within this next week or so. Peace.
They ain't rooting for me, they ain't clapping for me. I'm only saying, can somebody just be happy for me? I really hate to say I told you so I bite my tongue, but you know.
Your favorite mystic's favorite mystic. You are traveling with the Hood Mystic. Time to tap in now. Your favorite astrologer's favorite astrologer. You are now tapped in.